Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to All Beer Inside. I am, as always, your not so humble host, Karp, and we have returned to our home province of Quebec, and we are in the town of Pointe St. Charles. And joining me is Alex of Brasserie Artisanale Memento.
Hello.
Hi. Thank you very much for hosting us today. I really appreciate anybody who's willing to speak about their bar, brewery, cidery, meadery, anybody in the craft beverage industry who wants to speak with us. We always appreciate that.
And thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the invitation. It's a pleasure having you.
Amazing. You brought me out some fantastic looking beers here to try. What am I going to be starting with?
So this is Blinky.
Okay.
That's our lager, German lager, very crisp, easy to drink, summer. The name comes from the nemesis of Pac-Man, who was always searching and trying to get him. Yeah. And same thing, in summer you're always looking for something light and refreshing, and that's why we decided to go with this name.
Awesome. As we do, a toast.
Cheers.
Oh, this is a good start beer. Like, take a bike ride on the bike path, get down here, enjoy one of these to start, and then drink more. Not too much though, because you got to bike responsibly as well as drive responsibly. So Alex, what is your history in the bar, beer, brewing industry?
So it's been a year and a half since I'm in the craft beverages in beer industry. Before, I used to do escape games, and it was all about storytelling for me. I started my first escape game, a maze escape game, 8 years ago, not far from Memento. And since then, I got super hooked on creating games, puzzles, and that's what I've been doing.
I actually escaped your jail one near Griffintown, near Longueuil Metro. Yeah, Longueuil. Yeah. No,
Longueuil, exactly, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
No, we did that early on when escape games first started to become popular. It's like, oh, let's do this, and it's super close for all of us because it's right near downtown, so.
Nice.
That's awesome.
We're opening a new location in Hochelaga, and that's going to be scary escape games, and we're really bringing it to the next level.
That's awesome.
It's the decoration store, everything is 5 times more exciting than the first ones.
And you also do TNT axe throwing.
Exactly. Okay. I also got hooked on axe throwing. Several years ago, I had one of my company, and now I have another axe throwing. I have another company in the States. So my background is actually a lot of creating different type of entertainment, real life experiences, something that can make your day a bit more extraordinary or less boring.
Just break from the norm. That's the important part.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. And how did you switch from, running 2 businesses, an escape room, and axe throwing to let's create a brewery, very chic bar type environment? So
I was always very passionate about drinks. Beer, wine, hard alcohol. I've been experimenting a lot with cocktails, and beer was always interesting for me in terms of creating craft beer. I remember first time when I moved to Canada, when I tried the first craft beer, I was like, what is this? Like, I exactly remember my thoughts, like, okay, that's something different. It would be so fun to explore this. And it was always in the back of my mind. However, I was busy with escape games. That was big fun, it still is a big portion of my life, until pandemic happened. So everything got shut down, and the good side of the pandemic that you can think about what you're doing. It gave me time, gave me energy to do something different and new. And I was thinking about brewery, craft beer, and then this space on St. Patrick became available. And I came, I looked, I was like, wow, that's an amazing location. It used to be offices. Yeah. And it was very hard to envision something chic or interesting. However, I had free time.
Yeah, a lot of people have free time. For those of us who were lucky enough to work from home, you had a lot of free time.
So that started. We made an offer for the place, taking only half of it. Okay. Because it's still a big commitment, it's a big place. But after a few weeks discussing with the landlord, we realized we should take the whole place. And we did it. And I'll be honest, now it's too small. If there is something else available nearby, I'll take it.
There's a clothing company down the street, but I think they're pretty established, so you might not be able to get them. And I mean, Point St. Charles is up and coming. There's spaces are just getting grabbed up left and right with new businesses. So.
I live for the past 8 years in Point St. Charles. Before I used to live in Verdun. I loved Sud-Ouest. I used to, my escape game office is in Sud-Ouest as well. So I know a lot about this area. Yes.
Yeah, I think it must took years for people to realize like Sud-Ouest is right next to downtown. Like, and I mean, where I am in Verdun, it's still considerably cheaper. But I know if my landlord, you know, if we leave, rent's going skyrocketing. So.
Yeah, that's the big problem of Montreal right now, the affordable housing.
Yeah, so that's why maybe, you know, look for the bigger space, but keep this place definitely going before any of that stuff. So. Why the name Memento? Because Memento usually means like a souvenir or it's something to warn or anything like that. Or is it just because of the movie Memento?
No, it's not related to the movie Memento. Even I love Nolan's work. It's a great movie. The name was actually a big struggle at the beginning to come up with. There were a few other names, and even one name. We did all the branding, and we're ready to go with that name. I married to that name. I'm like, okay, so that's what we're doing. That's this name, and then realized the name is not that representing to the brewery, more a bar, but still not there. We did some surveys, and we did probably ask over 300 people, different industries, craft beer lovers, people who go to nightclubs, people who are 18 or 45, so everyone. And everyone told that name was good, you can remember it, but has nothing to do with beer, it's hard to associate.
Yeah.
So we decided to change the name a few weeks, months before opening. So I was like, okay, let's do it. And Memento is about is a memory, it's a souvenir, and we inviting people to create their own memories here. And now we're doing small rebranding, making it a bit more in a style where we're going in direction. And one of the taglines we have, we're brewing not just beer, but memories.
Yeah. Let's speak about that rebrand. It's coming up soon.
July 15th, we're releasing our new logo, and we're releasing our new merchandise, and we're releasing our new beer and new menu. So it's a big date for us.
Yeah, but still kind of, the tap room's remaining the same, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you're not just going to start knocking down bricks.
No. We actually will be expanding, but not for July 15th. Probably beginning of September, we'll be expanding our second floor and getting more activities.
I mean, speaking of expansion alone, when I first came here, it was just here, and it was when we still had to kind of sit 6 feet away and, you know, take your mask off, drink a beer, and put your mask back on. Then you added the front terrace, just added the side terrace. It's a work in progress, this place, and I guess the rebrand is just perfectly lining up with that.
Exactly. Our first logo is the dog. That's very strict lines, very metal, and it actually represents the work in progress. So like you build the structure, you build these metal rods to support, and now a year and a half later, we're ready to show not just the structure, but actually the facade and what it is.
I know this might be an off question, but why a year and a half and not why not wait till year 2 to do the rebranding?
It just felt naturally.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been looking from the marketing perspective, from the storytelling perspective, and our first dog is nice and good. I love that logo, but still it's missing a character. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's a lot of those straight lines, it's the hexagonal lines, and that's, I find a lot in the brewing industry. There's breweries that their logo is a hop logo, but it's those straight lines, and so it feels like it stays within the craft beverage industry with those lines, and there's a science behind those lines, and that back there behind you, that's a science creating beers. So.
However, this is again the structure, it's strict lines. What I like in the craft beers, every beer has a character, or should have a character, something different, and that's what we're going for. Our new logo is also a dog.
Yeah.
It's a dog with the bow tie, with some hypnosis behind. And this is the dog actually, conferencier, that invites you to Memento, invites you to this journey where you can try different beer, food, cocktails, and go around the place and just explore it. So a bit of like carnival.
You also have a name for your new dog?
Mori.
Okay.
So it's a Memento Mori.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, I love the hypno dog look too. So it's straight out of Futurama. And speaking of that, you guys are very inspired by geek culture, old school video games, old school comic books. Yeah. You can see it. Every room's a little different. Like, what brought that inspiration about?
It also goes with the name Memento. So it's a memories, and we're trying to create a lot of topics that will bring some memories back.
Yeah.
Then the space, so we have 4 different sections. I'm going to have the 5th one, excluding the terrace. That's a legacy of the offices that used to be here. So we had to naturally create the zones. And instead of creating everything in the same style, like, okay, why not go crazy? Why let's do different things?
Yeah, no, it's fantastic, and I do love it. And we've had, as our group, we're mostly in our 40s, and we feel at home with the old school feel, with your arcade one-up, the pinball machine, the ping pong, air hockey. Like, people in our age group feel at home, but also younger people. I've seen a lot of younger people here too.
Yeah.
You guys just draw, and people just flock here, and you reserve, and it's awesome to see this. Yeah. And I love the concept of different rooms where you're not just stuck with one thing, and even the art on the wall where it's Mozart with headphones on, and then there's the artist with a crazy mustache and a big beard, and it's so unique, it's so chic, it's so cool. And then just not sticking with beer too. You've decided we're gonna make our own beer. And when I first came here, you guys did not just have your releases yet. So a lot of other Quebecois craft breweries. You have imports, you have cocktails. Why not just make your own beer and invite the world to experience here?
So to open a brewery, it took a bit longer than we planned. Okay. So the bar was ready, but we were still waiting for some equipment, some installation. So we decided, why not open it right away? But we need to have a good beer. So we choose the good local breweries and some private import to show, hey, our beer is coming, but that's what we think is good, and invite people to try. That's in terms of beer. And we're pretty proud what we have, and we constantly keep expanding. We hope on July 15th, so maybe a few weeks later, we even gonna add extra taps.
Nice.
And this would be for a smaller, more rare beer, private imports, or even local or experiments.
So you guys are gonna cost me more money, yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
All right, let's get beer number 2 here.
So this is a Stratégie of IPA.
Okay.
Very classic Citra Mosaic, double dry hop, 6%. The name comes Strategy because we value the games, and each game should have a strategy behind, and everything should have a strategy.
Awesome. A toast. Oh yeah, that's the beer I like right there. And again, I like all beers, but there's something about an IPA sometimes where it's just like the flavorful beers just change so much over the last 10 years, and you don't just have to get used to like your old school Labatt 50 type thing. There's so much more beer to experience out there now. So
exactly.
Wow.
And that's the direction where we're going. We're planning to experiment quite a lot, but that's probably would be announced pretty soon, but not right now.
No, don't worry about that. And so you brought in a head brewer.
Yep.
Are you assisting him at all, create recipe creations, or just throwing suggestions at him?
I'm not a brewer. I don't know how to brew, but I'm a tester. So I like to test beer and discuss. And I'm on the side of more of again storytelling. Yeah. So each beer should have a story, should tell a story. Even the simple one, or a classic one, or something more complicated. Yeah,
so you want your names to reflect what Memento is, which is that geek comic book, all that culture.
Yeah, not necessarily all of this. Is just each beer should have a story, and we're trying when we create, we're trying to come up with the idea, with the story. And actually, 4 beers that will be 4 bottles that we're releasing on 15th. Each of them has pretty interesting story behind.
Plus, you have cans as well available, which is nice.
Yeah.
I mean, you literally come in the front door and they're right there, so that's pretty helpful. It's like, oh, if it's 2-packed, I could just buy a 4-pack and go.
Yeah, and
go on the bike path or wherever, and just make sure you're drinking legally. Don't get in trouble, because that's the last thing you need is, oh, people are buying beer. No, don't do that. I need my business.
Because we're so located at the entrance on the canal, a lot of people coming, taking the beer and do picnics. Yeah. So it's totally legal. Totally legal, and they drink outside with their meal.
Now, you guys do have a small bike rack. Have you asked the city or yourselves if you could install a bigger one? Because you're right on the bike path.
Exactly. We have a lot of people coming with bikes or electric scooters and get this question all the time.
If I can make a suggestion, I kayak from Villemard, so if you guys can convince the city to install a dock in front, that'd be awesome.
Yes. Actually, next to us there's a building, Mist. They have an entrance to the water. And maybe, not this year, but this is the future dream, having a small pontoon, having another small bar there, and maybe a submarine.
I don't know with everything that happened with the recent submarine, if you want a submarine.
That's a good point, yes.
I mean, you're not going ocean depth there, but it's just a suggestion. Now, you guys focus, your own brewed beers, you focus on lagers, gozas, barrel-aged. What made you decide that and not just go for the gamut of everything?
So now we're actually expanding other types of hops and grain and different styles. But we decided to go something more light for the summer, for the terrace. But again, right now we're going very wide direction. Yeah.
You got to go where the market says, right? If the market's saying IPA, which it is a lot, you got to make some IPAs.
100%.
And I saw on your Instagram you also installed a foeder.
Yeah.
The big.
We have 2 big foeders, 2.5, 2.8 thousand liters from Calvados, came from France, and we have 1 big of mezcal.
So you're going to be pumping out saisons at some point, I'm assuming?
So actually that's Echo, that's the saison that was aged in one of the barrels, and we added some wild yeasts to it.
Cool.
And Réflexion, it's another barrel aged, it's a Berliner Weiser that we add some fruits to it.
Your cocktail menu for the alcohol you bring in, is it mostly, as for what you can, is it mostly Quebec?
Yeah, so we have to go with SIQ for hard alcohol. With wine, we're getting private import. Of course, it goes through SIQ, but we're trying to get something more exclusive for wine. Hard alcohol, we have to follow the rules.
Yeah, so your gins are mostly Quebec, I'm assuming.
Exactly.
Which, that's what Quebec is.
But actually, that's done on purpose. We have so many good distilleries. We're right next to Circa. We have some secret society from Gaspé, and they're doing a great job, and we're happy to promote them.
And then when you're bringing in staff, the training for them, you want to at least hopefully have a bit of a background in alcohol in general?
Exactly, and it's been a rough time for hiring, and everyone struggling.
Everyone is struggling.
Yeah,
it's scary right now. I mean, we were out and about the other day as a show, just interviewing, and we're just seeing the struggles of this. Normally, it's like 15 minutes to get a waitress. Now it's like 30 or 40 minutes, and we understand. Like it's a rough time still. We're still just coming out of the pandemic. For what, this new normal that we're going to have. People are going to struggle for a while, and that's why we want to get your name out there to people who might not know about Memento, and from what I've seen, it's not much of a problem, but it's people visiting who've never heard of you. Come to Point St. Charles. Huginn, Sa Taverne, you, Messorum. There's 4 great breweries to drink beer at, and just share the love. There's no question about it. So
exactly.
You can easily, it's an hour walk for all 4.
Yeah, we actually get a lot of tourists like this who do walking non-organized beer tours. Start either at Messorem and going this way, or going from Allport and all the way to Messorem.
So, brewski, Huginn, you cut back up to Saint-Taverne, cut back down to Missouri, and then during the summer go to McCausland for the giant, beautiful terrace.
Yes.
That is always nice.
Yes. And on the way, there are a few also craft beer boutique stores.
Yes.
So you can also grab something small there while you're walking.
Are you in any stores yet, or is that on the way?
We used to be in few, and there's still few products. But we're focusing more on, we have so many people, and the brewery was open for less than a year.
Yeah.
So we're still trying to increase efficiency and produce for other stores. But so far, people drink a lot here, which is good.
See, for me, it's easy. If I'm driving, Huginn 4-pack, Saint-Taverne 4-pack, here 4-pack, Missouri 4-pack. And then if I want to end the day, just drink, have one beer at cold beer, bière froide.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of options at Point St. Charles, which is becoming really helpful as a craft beverage drinker.
Exactly.
It's awesome.
Exactly. Yeah.
Point St. Charles is becoming this. Verdun is becoming really popular. Like you said, the Sud-Ouest. Where's this been this entire time? And it's finally coming.
Yeah. But it's also because of the Canal Lachine. It used to be so industrial. And Canal Lachine was built in the beginning of 19th century to have ships coming from Lake Ontario to Europe. Yeah. And there was so many industrial buildings. So it's very natural and easy to open something industrial.
Yeah. When I first came here, you did not have food, and then you introduced food.
Yeah.
That was obviously natural progression of Memento is we need food.
Exactly.
What's some of the guests and your favorites coming out of your kitchen?
So our best seller and my favorite is truffle parmesan fries. It's a twist on the classical fries. We added some truffle oils, parmesan, and that's it. It's so dangerous. I got some extra weight because of that. You don't feel it, and it's so tasty, and you just go beer, fries, that's it.
Yeah. You just keep doing them too because you don't notice it. Plus all that extra truffle oil and the parmesan on top.
Exactly.
And then I know you have wings as well.
Yeah, we have wings that we did with the sauce made with our beer. We have poutine, same thing. We have some vegetarian options, of course. We have hummus. We have some hot dogs. We're changing the menu to make it more summer, more light. But still, it's not 3-course meal. But it's a good food that you can, if you're hungry, you can eat.
It's pub grub, but with a little extra, a premium pub grub.
Yeah, with a small twist.
And so it's not going to be a big rebrand. You're still going to have your basics plus your adding on top.
Yeah, we're removing few items. We're adding some extra items. We're changing the servings, the portions. So we have a lot of people coming as big groups. And with everything's happening with the games, arcades, really trying to create this community. It's also at some point comes to the food. So something that you can easily share with your friends. Yeah. That's the direction we're going. Smaller portions, less expensive. But something easy to share.
That's great. And I know you guys book a lot of events. Like I said, pre-show, that room was full, that room was full, upstairs was full. I had to squeeze into the bar to get a beer. And your barmaid and bartenders were just running back and forth, going crazy. I'm like, I just want a beer. I just want a beer. So what was that draw? What was to get all those people to attend and make events here and stuff?
It's a venue at some point, so small zones really let people create different venues, the big section upstairs as well, but no matter what kind of event, we're always trying to stay welcome for everyone. That's why you cannot reserve space on the terrace. Our bar is always available for clients, so no matter how many groups, how many people, I can promise you can always come here and grab a drink.
Although I did see that there was one day you were closed for a full event. But speaking of that, how important is social media to Memento?
We're trying to express what's happening through social media. We're increasing right now our newsletter campaign, so we can send more news with newsletters, but all our news traveling through social media.
I mean, I already saw, because I played at a maze in the past. I'm signed up for the newsletter, and part of that newsletter was a maze, Hochelaga, new room, Memento, Rebranding the 15th, or new launch the 15th, and then TNT axe throwing. So combining all three in one shot, you're getting all groups, people who love to, use their brains and escape a maze. And it's like, okay, well, now that you've had fun escaping a maze, just go drink a beer down the street.
Exactly. And it's also part of our promotion of craft beer. Mm-hmm. So we still have a lot of people for whom lagers and IPAs, these two type of beer, and there is this third style called Guinness. Mm-hmm. And that's it. So they have that beer, the Guinness style, and then let us explain. There is way more than that.
Yeah. Speaking of that, let's get to that.
Yeah, this is Huginn.
Okay.
That's the Irish style stout with coconut and banana.
Wow.
It's very dry and it's very dangerous because it's 10% alcohol.
Okay, so enjoy one and don't drive. Toast. This does not taste like 10% alcohol.
Exactly.
Wow. Yeah. I wanted to ask earlier, when I first came here, I saw a lot of Lagerbier and Malmstrom. What made you decide those two breweries?
Malmstrom just doing amazing lagers. Mm-hmm. Like, their product is really great, and it's been a blast working with them. So more or less every week, all the time, we have something from them. And Lagerbier, they also do great products, and that's it. It's just we're really trying to have here good breweries.
And also cidrerie, so having a cider on tap for those who don't drink beer.
Exactly. So we had Hemmingford, their cider. It's amazing. I'll be honest, we tried to think about alternatives a few times. Nothing beat it. It's a pleasure for everyone.
No, that's good. Yeah. You have your faithfuls you work with, which is important because then you're creating brands together, and that's the important part is.
And there will be again more and more other beers coming, with having more taps, more invited beers, more our beers. That's the direction where we're going.
Could you see yourselves collabing on making beers in the brew house with those guys or girls?
Yeah. Eventually, yes. Collaboration is always great. You can share the knowledge, can share what you did. Mm-hmm. So that's good. And overall, the craft beer community is very welcoming.
With the popularity of the 1UP arcades coming along, I mean, they're selling them everywhere now. What made you decide Mortal Kombat, Marvel Pinball, and Pac-Man upstairs?
And Simpsons.
Simpsons. When?
A few weeks ago. So I know what you're doing tonight.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mortal Kombat was my all-time blast game when I was a kid. That was just probably the best one. Pac-Man is Pac-Man. You cannot go without Pac-Man, and it's something you can keep playing. Pinball, same thing. It's something nice and good. There is way more games coming also. I don't know if it will be released on 15th or not, but Mario Kart, Donkey Kong, so it's coming.
Awesome. So this is going to be kind of a one-stop shop for, it feels like people of my age and background. I'm in my mid-40s now, and it's just nostalgia that I need. And
exactly.
My Friday nights, when we're not super busy early on a Saturday morning, is Huginn, pints and pinball. Here, pint, pinball. Now it's going to be The Simpsons. So it's a quick walk for me for both, 15 minutes. I'm not driving. I'm doing the responsible thing and share the love.
Perfect. Exactly.
There's more than just drinking beer. There's enjoy yourself. Play some ping pong if you have some friends. Play some air hockey.
And we're actually trying to promote with the ping pong this activity when you can come alone and still play with friends.
Okay.
And play with random people. Yep. And they play, you win one game, then another person. So it's part of the creating community, creating the friendship. So everyone is welcome here. So play ping pong, play air hockey, play foosball with strangers.
Yeah.
That's good. And one of the things we find out, actually, that I was really surprised, people stay here a very long time. Mm-hmm. So it's not a place where people stay for 1 hour. We had few events. We had a school event when teachers came. The event started.
I'm like, school event, hold on. Now I know we're in Quebec and it's 18, but...
Teachers came and they arrived at 3 p.m. and the last person left at midnight.
Wow.
So it was fun all the time, and that was good.
I do like your ping pong concept. It's almost like Jean Moss for volleyball in the mountain is I could just show up and play with 3 random strangers and play some beach volleyball. So
exactly.
That's great. And you're trying to create at least community, maybe even new friendships. Like you said, Memento is that souvenir that you want. You want people to remember this place.
And that's why all our games are free to play. Of course, it's very easy, or from the business perspective, we want to charge people, want to make more money. I mean, everyone does.
Yeah, of course.
But we decided to make all the games free, so you can come at any point and play ping pong.
Now, I know there's the axe throwing cage outside.
Yeah.
Do you ever see doing something with... Now, clearly, don't be drunk when you're throwing axes.
Yeah.
No. But if somebody wants to come here, enjoy a pint, and maybe throw in the cage, is that going to become an option?
Probably, yes, at some point.
I'm sure there's lots of safety things with the Quebec government that you're like,
yes, but we do a lot of events. We did few events when people booked MAs, and that private event you're talking about, they actually also booked the axe throwing cage.
Okay.
So people came, had a beer, went to throw axes, and then had more beers. Yeah. And axes is quite safe to throw. So, of course, you don't need to be drunk, but we see if a person is drunk. And everyone usually is very understandable.
Use common sense. That's pretty much it. Let's try another beer here. You mentioned
let's do it. Yeah. So, that's part of our new release, which is, let's go with Echo. Echo is barrel-aged Saison. So it was in Calvados barrels for several months. And then we added some wild yeasts. And Echo, the name, because every beer is Echo something else. So this is is Echo of our first release of barrel-aged beer. And
awesome. A toast.
Cheers.
Oh, yeah. That's nice. It's not like overly peppery like a regular Saison. It's very tasty.
Just needs to be a bit more colder, but...
Yeah, that's fine. It's, some beers you want to let them warm up a bit from when they're cold to actually present their real flavors and nose and everything. To me, this is fantastic. So I don't need a cold beer because if beer's too cold, it ruins my palate.
Yeah, 100%.
I know when I came here with a group of friends for a birthday, we were hanging out in your Jenga lounge. Yeah. What made you decide to have those big, beanball couches and things like that?
So we decided completely change the vibe from ping pong area where we have higher tables, and higher tables are usually better for ping pong because balls are not bouncing and you feel more, I don't want to say safe, but more comfortable. And then you move a bit and we have a Jenga, and Jenga you play, it's a giant Jenga from the floor, so you sit there and just felt naturally. We made a frame around it to remind as a fireplace. So this area looks a bit of like a campsite.
Plus people sign the bricks. What made you decide to let people create art on your bricks?
We didn't let anyone do this. It just happened on its own. And now actually you have nothing to do, you can just read the bricks and there are messages, there are stories, there are jokes.
Yeah. That's great. Love that. Because I know, I think it's Lord William Pub not too far down the street in the shared bathrooms, because your bathrooms are pretty unique too, but in the shared bathrooms there's a chalkboard and chalk and people write jokes and stuff. So I like that. It's, you didn't come up with it, but you're like, no, we gotta go with it now. That's what's happening. So as you mentioned earlier, before the show, somebody came in and asked about a beer cocktail. Do you see that becoming something part of Memento, or just if somebody asks, you still do it?
We decided not to do any beer cocktails because we believe our product is finished on its own. However, if client asks a beer cocktail, we won't say no. And a few days ago, I remember the guy asked for lager with Campari.
Okay.
And he's like, it would be something like Negroni, but something like, interesting.
Yeah. I haven't seen a huge explosion of it, but it's there. I mean, beer, craft beer, beer market here, because it's a craft beer market in Ontario. I know they have beer cocktails, but to me, it's never been like, oh, I want that. It's just, but that's personally me.
Yeah.
But people love experimenting. You know, we've been trying as a show non-alcoholics, seltzers, and beer ciders, beer meads. Do you see at least because non-alcoholics become really popular.
Exactly.
Do you see a non-alcoholic on that board soon?
Yes. We did few tests. Now we don't have any non-alcoholic option that we did here, but we have Bazaar and Lagabière. And when we brought Bazaar, we decided to try. The first case was sold out in a weekend. That's
great.
And I didn't expect that. Yeah. We also got non-alcoholic cider from Saint-Bulle, that's spontaneous cider. Non-alcoholic is more popular than classic one.
Yeah. And then I'm noticing mocktails or non-alcoholic cocktails. Is there starting to be a demand for that too?
Yes, 100%.
Because it is, you guys are for the young to the older, and the young generation is drinking a lot less alcohol, and you gotta sell something to them.
Exactly.
So is that becoming more of not a full representation of Memento, but part of it?
We're here for everyone, and we're trying to educate people. And we're trying to educate that even non-alcoholic drinks can be tasty, interesting, and can create a good palate. So 100%. And every few months we're expanding our offer for non-alcoholic. Since day one, we have a non-alcoholic kombucha available on tap, and it's always a blast. Awesome. People asking for it all the time.
Point St. Charles was known as a more welfare, poorer neighborhood. It's starting to change. Yeah. You have a local, Point St. Charles for 50 years, comes in here and he's like, what's this? How do you sell them that craft beer?
We're just welcoming everyone and trying to explain people, and it's not something that there is this barrier. We're trying to be involved in the community. Right now there is, and right now it's happening Loisir Saint Henry. That's an event with the chess games, and we donated our beer to them. Last year in September there was a big ping-pong tournament in Pont St. Charles, and the after party was at Memento.
Awesome.
So again, we're trying to be involved in the community and tell, and yes, it's a craft beer. Craft beer costs more than corner store beer, but we're still trying to stay reasonable. Sometimes it's hard to explain Americans, because we had few, I wouldn't say bad reviews, telling, oh, your pint is $8.
Yeah.
And then you see actually I had this conversation with the person. It's $8, but convert to US, and then exactly, and like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it's a reasonable price, and that's why I drink craft beers. I know I'm paying for a premium product. I know I'm supporting as much Quebecois, or if I'm in Vermont, as much Vermont, or if I'm in Ontario, as much Ontario as I'm trying to support that province that I'm in, and that's the important part. So, and I love being a Montrealer, and I want to support as much Montreal as I can.
Montreal is the best city
Beer
for me.
Fest is next week, and I'll be going to support Laval. Do you see beer festivals in the future?
Yes. There is a discussion about Sud-Ouest Oktoberfest. I don't know if I should tell this or not. It's been up in the air recently, but definitely give us a bit more time to establish production, make sure we're able to get the demand. And
Sud-Ouest Oktoberfest would be perfect. I wouldn't have to travel for one. Oh, yeah. See that tease right there? I'm just like, ah. All right, let's try one more beer, and then I got a couple more questions.
Perfect. So this is Réflexion. It's a reflection of thoughts about beers. So it's a barrel-aged Berliner Weiss, and we add some fruits. And we did 6 versions of this beer, adding different fruits to it.
Thank you.
I'm not sure which one is this, I'll be honest. But the idea is that that you can try 6 different versions of the same beer or the same base, very complex, and reflect about different tastes.
Awesome. Oh, that's tasty.
So
That's
it's
a nice summery Berliner Weiss.
So it's a plum.
Oh. Wow, super tasty. Speaking along that, there's more beers here. Are these upcoming beers for the rebrand?
Yeah. So that's the part of the new release. We're gonna have Strategy. That's the second beer we tried in cans. We're gonna have a Checkmate. That's the wheat beer. Checkmate is a twist of names check, like chess, and mate, which are friends. So this beer was made with a few friends, and that's a very easy drink that promotes camaraderie.
Yeah.
And we have 2 barrel-aged in a bourbon barrels imperial stouts, 10%. One is the classical version, and another one is cafe version where we added some cold brew.
Very cool.
Don't drink it at night.
or drink it as your last beer of the night.
Exactly.
And make sure you're not driving. The uniqueness of each room. Obviously, like, you know, there's the Japanese blossom tree. I'm pretty sure it's
exactly.
there's kind of this chill room with the couch, games-ish room, let's say, and then the full game room upstairs. Why the uniqueness of each room?
We decided to have different zones also to highlight that the place is welcome for everyone.
Okay.
So you can choose your corner, and the beauty, you can go and just discover the place. My friend told he loves having events here, like birthdays, because when his friends are coming, he doesn't need to entertain them for first half an hour. They can just walk around and look at the place, and like, okay, and then they come back, and the conversation is happening a lot.
Yeah.
We also create a lot of conversation starters. So if you're on a first date and you have nothing to talk about, you're like, oh, just point the finger, and that's it.
Yeah, I brought a date here. We sat on the couch and enjoyed beers together, so it was very nice.
Perfect.
Yeah, very awesome. So with the rebrands, I haven't seen a lot of merch. Is merchandise coming?
Yes. So we're gonna have 6 completely new T-shirts. We're having keychains, hats, even posters, water bottles. Something that you can actually wear Memento somewhere else, wear it with you.
Hats as well, and pretty much
Yes.
all the regular fare that everybody else has, but with your own flair to it.
Yeah. So we work with local artists who actually create everything, and pretty happy and glad that we work with someone local who lives actually on St. Patrick, right next to Memento, and he put also his soul into this design process.
Amazing. I look forward to the future of Memento. I'm looking forward to the rebrand the day after our video comes out. What is the future of Memento after the rebrand and expansion? Where do you see Memento in the future?
So we'll be increasing the production, productivity, releasing more new beer. A few secrets coming, but more games, more space upstairs, more taps, more private import beers, and just making sure we can keep growing. Looking forward to a lot of collaborations.
Alex, thank you very, very much for hosting us
Thank
today.
you so
Really
much.
Appreciate this. I look forward to the rebrand as of next week. Well, I'm off next week, so maybe the week after I'll be able to enjoy
Come
it.
here on 15th.
What's that?
Come here on 15th.
We're gonna
It will
try.
be big blast. We're also gonna have a charcoal barbecue from our friends from Pont Saint Charles, Avangu,
Okay.
and a few other surprises. So that will be a good day to be here.
Now, for those who can't make the rebrand but are looking for Memento and looking for you online, where can people find you?
We're located in Pont Saint Charles, right at the entrance on from the Canal Lachine, 2471 St. Patrick. Probably you won't see our big logo from St. Patrick, and this done on purpose. But if you drive on a bike, you're definitely gonna see us. Come say hi.
And your website and social media.
BrasserieMemento.com and the Memento MTL on Facebook, Instagram, and the Memento on Untappd.
All that'll be in the show notes. As for us, allbeerinside.com is the website. At allbeerinside on all social media. If you enjoyed the episode, please subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell for all future episodes. And as I say at the end of all episodes, drink craft, not crap.